Our team has been working with the city of Crisfield on the eastern shore of Maryland for a few years now, and this work started before I joined TNC, but I'm a part of that team now, and we've been working with them to figure out what it is that the residents want for their own future. They spent a long time working with the community to identify their community resilience goals, what it is that defines their community, what makes them vibrant, and deep there's deep culture there and all of these historical ties that the residents hold to the land and the water. And by doing that slow work of trust building, we were really able to understand how they envision Crisfield and what it would take, what kinds of resources the city needs in order to preserve that future for them. That project also really helped inform the recommendations that you see in the SEAFARE report, because a lot of what is written down in this report, we really tried to model in those interactions. We learned a lot from that process, and I think as we continue our work, Crisfield will continue to form the basis of how we also define really how we need to set project goals, where do we need to build in checks and balances, and how do we do this in a way where feedback is constant so we are able to improve as we hear from our partners. We worked really hard to make sure that this report was written in a way that it was widely accessible and that anyone should be able to pick it up and be able to run with what it is that we're trying to say. We try to optimize it for different types of learning styles. We used bright colors and visuals and graphics. And the core of it is really that communities who are facing the first and worst impacts of climate change have vibrant histories and cultures and needs and wants and desires just like anyone, and they really deserve to define their own futures. So we have to do our work in a way that empowers them and allows them to be the ones to set their own priorities. And our job really is to make sure that any of the information coming our way is accessible to them. So first and foremost, just understanding that lived experience is just as valuable as any Western scientific knowledge. I think we live in a world where we have prioritized scientific knowledge often over people's own lived experiences. So if we're going to work in a coastal community or in a place that is experiencing these imminent climate change impacts, we really have to start with a mindset of people first and community first, and really understanding what it is that they are experiencing and what it is that they want for their own future, and really go from there. So understanding what the needs on the ground are, and then creating our funding programs and policy programs with that in mind. And one other thing to highlight here, even though this report is taking a lens of funding systems, I think as you start to read it, you'll find that from the lens of trying to dismantle different funding programs, we are really touching on a lot of different systems of the political process, local governance, how resources flow. So tackling the funding system is one way, but climate change is this massive, super wicked problem that is not the problem for one organization alone. The Nature Conservancy is one organization working within this space. Our primary expertise being we're a science-based organization and we conserve nature. That's how the organization started. And when we start to talk about climate change and building true resilience in a place, that requires collaboration amongst so many different sectors of society. So we're really one part of the equation. We have to work together with our state agencies, lots of different state agencies, not just the ones that would come to mind as the first step if you're thinking of the Nature Conservancy, not just the Department of Natural Resources. It would be a lot of different types of agencies, working with other nonprofit partners, and making sure that the way we do our work is in collaboration and true community with the people that we say we are trying to serve.